Timer. All right, we're good.
All right, so we're supposed to talk about our thoughts on organizational culture, what types we've experienced in the workplace, and if we believe that leaders can shape culture. One of the biggest things that I wanted to talk about was I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong, the Pygmalion effect. Is that right? Close enough?
Close enough.
Because I see that a lot in the workplace, and I just wanted to kind of give an example of that real quick. In my work, we basically developed a promotion per se for some associates. We gave them like a 50 cent an hour raise. Basically said, "Oh, you're going to have more responsibility and a title change." And these people busted their butts like you would not believe because they thought all of a sudden they're important. Everybody's going to count on them. In reality, we paid them 50 cents more just to get more out of them, and it worked. So it definitely does work, and I do see it a lot. And just one of my other thoughts of what's kind of important, the role model aspect was really important to me. I've had a lot of leaders that kind of want to do everything on their own. They don't want their subordinates to improve because then they're afraid they're going to take their jobs. So instead of actually coaching them and teaching them and developing them, they just tell them what to do. I don't really resonate with that. So another cool thing, I don't know if you guys really looked at it, but the of high performance on page 244 kind of gave you like a summary of everything that you should do as a leader to be successful. I actually printed it out on it. But yeah, definitely I think that leaders can definitely shape the culture in the workplace. If I have a leader that I don't want to follow, it's going to make things miserable. So that's really all that I have.
All right, sounds good. For me, I actually watched the Zappos videos, and they actually made me sad, as bad as that is. The company that I used to work for was set up in a similar fashion. Even though we were at separate locations, you can definitely feel the close-knit like camaraderie amongst all the employees, the upper leaderships, upper management. And then upper management also showed that they cared and motivated us to be, the best employees that we could be, just by doing small, silly, fun stuff. And as bad as it is, I used to enjoy going to work every day. And then back in 2011, our company was purchased by another bank. So most of upper management was replaced by the new company. And we no longer have that feeling of, oneness amongst our employees and our leaders. It feels like we're completely separated. So I don't even look at them as leaders anymore, just more as managers who are, there to call you out when something is wrong. There's never anything good that comes out of it. So you don't have any of those motivational tactics that are used by leaders anymore. All they're there is just to drive sales, and by saying hit your numbers or else you're fired. So I don't really enjoy going to work much anymore. So yeah.
Sounds like you need to go work at Starbucks.
Yeah. And then in my branch, just kind of like a personal level, my direct manager is actually somebody who I look up to as a leader, because she does a great job motivating us in other ways to try to keep the atmosphere light, and by doing, what she can, but it's unfortunate that there's only so much she can do in that respect. So unfortunately now I kind of have that negative culture going on at work, that's kind of done by the leadership. And seeing the difference between two different companies' cultures, you can definitely say that leaders are able to shape your culture and drive motivation and, create that trusting climate. And if you don't have that, people just don't enjoy going to work anymore. So seeing those Zappos commercials actually kind of made me sad, because I miss that a lot. So yeah, so that's it.
Yeah. Sucks when there's only negative reinforcement. Sounds like you need a little more positive reinforcement.
Pretty much. I mean, it's either you hit your sales numbers or you're fired. And if you hit your numbers, you've got to do, X, Y, and Z to even get a payout. And it's pretty much impossible. And we all cry about it all the time.
So tough, right?
I think it's Eric then me.
I thought it was you and then me and then Eric.
All right, I'll go. So I also watched the Zappos videos, like Danielle. at first when I was thinking about the prompt, I was like, what am I going to say? Like, I don't feel like I notice culture in the workplace. I just go to work. Because that's just kind of how I personally work. But after like thinking about it and watching the Zappos videos, I started dwelling on an experience I had where it was very much a close-knit community. And so I was thinking what the leaders did to provide that culture. And I believe what they did is they brought their genuine self to the workplace. The manager and assistant manager of Starbucks I worked at this last summer in San Diego, they came from hard backgrounds, and it made them much more grateful and humble to be at their positions. And that was one of the Zappos values, was to be humble. And that definitely fostered a happy, hardworking environment at that location. And it started from the top and just filtered down. And I just thought that was a wonderful experience, that everyone was happy at work. And this is an entry-level minimum wage job where people shout at you for a couple hours a day because they don't have their coffee yet. And I understand that it's hard without the coffee, but it was a wonderful experience seeing how that changed what has always been not a pleasant environment from what I've seen. And that's definitely because the leaders can and do always shape the culture. I think it's something that it's not like a choice they make. They're always shaping the culture of the workplace, whether it's good or bad.
Yep.
My turn. All right. So when I read about this, the first thing that stood out to me was that like Starbucks is definitely all about culture and diversity. Like they always talk about it, and everything that we have and everything that we learn, every barista from the beginning learns about it. And when I read the prompt, I actually started with the last question and then I moved on to the first question. Don't know why, I just did. But I believe a leader can start up a new culture with the group of individuals he or she works with. This can help establish a team and shape them where the leader wants them to be. So, you know, like you said, your leaders were all humble. So, you know, it basically like grew on you guys, where you guys were humble, even though these people were just like yelling at you for your coffee. And then in regards of like positivity and negativity and engagement and entertainment, Starbucks is all of that for me, to be honest with you. I've been with the company for 6 years and I've seen it all. I've seen positivity, I've seen the negativity, and you know, and it just depends on the leader. Like if you have a really good positive manager or positive shift supervisor, you can definitely like work through your shifts, even if like someone's yelling at you, you know what I mean? And then I've experienced the negative where I had my previous manager, she was going through so much and we were just all miserable. And it's just, to me, it's just not good leadership. She was bringing all her emotions to work, and it was tough on all of us, but we all tried to make the best of it. And I remember when I came in, everybody was miserable. I was like not a new shift supervisor, but the transferring shift supervisor. And they were just like, how are you all so happy? How are you so happy all the time? I'm like, hey, you just got to make it fun. Like that's the entertainment part. I just bring the entertainment just because I'm like, I want to have fun at work. I don't want to be, you know, like Danielle, where you don't want to be there. Because I've been in that position as well, where I'm just like, I really just want to get out of here.
Yeah.
So it's all about the leadership and, you know, what they bring to the table. And it's definitely important that we just let them run the show. And if you feel uncomfortable with what they're doing, or if they're being negative, I don't have a problem communicating with them about that anymore. And I'm hoping that everybody else doesn't have a problem telling their boss that. I know sometimes it's hard, but hey, it's something I grew on, and I'm really proud of myself for doing that, because I used to just keep my mouth shut and just cry on the inside. So, all right, Eric.
Cool. Well, I wanted to talk about my first Starbucks store, my first Starbucks location. I just transferred at the end of December just because I eventually got over it. But it was a weird culture, like you just said. I've seen it all, you know. It was good when it was good, but when it was bad, it was absolutely horrible. My manager, he was very results driven, which is good, But when literally that's your only aspect of leadership, that's bad. You know, there's a lot more to leadership than that. I'm all for results, but I mean, there's way more on the other side to the, you know, to the leading. And I just put that he didn't communicate much. He didn't communicate much with anybody about, like, you know, anything except when he was mad or angry or under pressure. Like, you know, when Quaza's coming around, he would literally just go on a freak out tear and just be a total jerk to everybody for like 2 months. Quaza would come and then he was fine, you know, and then it was back to normal. And then when it was good, you know, we literally had like a family, you know, it was good. It was calm. We got through everything. We got along with each other. There was no conflict, you know, everything ran smooth. And then my manager, Joey, would just come on the floor and literally just tear everybody a new one. And it was horrible. It literally affected the whole culture of the place for literally like weeks or months at a time. And, you know, I would hate going into work. You know, I would literally go in there saying like, wow, what could go wrong today? Or like, what's going to go wrong today? And that's not good. It wasn't healthy. So I eventually ended up leaving, but what kept it together was, you know, the good supervisors. We had supervisors with good views and good, you know, cultural aspects, and they're the ones that kind of kept like the goodness together and would, you know, bring Joey up every now and then. But everybody can only stand so much. You know, one shift supervisor left, and then another shift supervisor left, and then eventually, you know, that when I got hired there, everybody there had been there for like 6 years, and then, you know, 3 years later, Joey's starting to go through his phase. All these 7-year partners all decided to leave in the same like 2-3 month span because he was just he was crazy. Like, you know, he was just a little too ridiculous, and he brought the negative culture out, and it wrecked it. It absolutely wrecked it. And I put that yes, leaders have an effect on culture. I wouldn't consider him a leader. I would consider him just a manager. But when you're looking at it, I put leaders do affect culture. I kind of agree with Caleb. They kind of just do it automatically. I think that's kind of like what, you know, I think it just comes with being a leader. It's just you kind of affect the culture no matter what.
It's really sad when that happens. And also, by the way, Quaza, you guys, well, Caleb knows what it is. It's like our health inspector. We don't make above a 90%, we fail. It's basically like our overall store cleanliness and stuff like that. So they're the people that
they are strict, but I mean, Starbucks is pretty clean and it's not that hard to pass it. But I mean, I understand it's strict, but he would just go on a tear. It was ridiculous.
Let's just say we're in a dark room, Quaza's the flashlight, and we're the roaches. We're just running around everywhere trying to figure everything out. That's the way I describe it. Okay.
Make sure that's dated.
Yeah.
Make sure the sanitizer is good. Oh my God.
We have 3 minutes. So.
All right. Isabel's the last one, right?
Oh,
Yep.
It was my turn.
Can you guys hear her okay? Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So I totally understand how, like, Eric was saying about being in like having a culture at work where you're just like, you go home and you're just like, okay, what can go wrong tomorrow? I do that like all the time, and I get super anxious about it, and I like go home and I like can't stop thinking about work and like what's gonna happen the next day. And I think that's mostly because I have a manager who constantly says, like, everybody's always on different pages, and she constantly says like, oh, I'm behind you guys 100%, and I'm here to like help you through things and help you like be trained properly, and like if you ever have any questions, like, you know. But then every time someone makes a mistake or does something wrong, it's like we get scolded for it, or it's like we get written up right away, or it's just like kind of like, why would you do something like that? Or kind of like she makes you feel like you're like stupid in a sense. So it kind of just like doesn't make any sense why she like on certain days she'll be like super nice and is like really positive about things, and then like the next day it's like she just makes you feel like you can't do anything right. So I don't like that. I mean, it's hard to say. Like, it's probably been like it's a negative experience at times, but then on the days where she's like, you know, acting like really positive about things, it's like a positive experience. So I just feel like it goes back and forth. And nobody's ever like on the same page about things. And then another thing that she does is like, she switches things all the time. So she'll like say something one day and the next day be like, why are we doing that after she like told us to do it? So I feel like that creates like a lot of like negative, like a lot of like negative feelings around the workplace, which can kind of create like it's definitely like a weird culture, especially because she's supposed to be like our manager and be like the leader. So I would say having a leader like that is definitely affects like the business and like everybody while they're working. And then another thing that's like kind of off of like what everybody's been talking about, but the culture of like the location of our business is like all Mormons. So that's a little bit off topic, but like kind of in there as well, just because like the way that people dress and like the way that you talk. I've never been in like a Mormon culture before, so that's been like an interesting experience. Not negative at all, but you just kind of have to learn like how to adapt to like other people. So yeah, that would be my thoughts.
See, for me, it's hard not knowing, like, when you actually go into work, like, what kind of day it's going to be. That would drive me crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks. Like, yesterday was, like, a great day and everything went super smoothly, and then today it was, like, all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's, like, it's weird when it's like that because you kind of are just, like, always on the edge, you know?
You always dread the worst going in. You know, if it's great, you know, like, hey, had a good day, but, you know, you prepare yourself for the bad days.
Right, and so I just try to, like, as part of management, like, I try to, like, the best that I can always be positive, because I feel like on the other girls, like, it would be horrible if, like, I was the same way as my manager and having, like, two of us, so I always try to, like, take the way that she is and just, like, turn it into a positive thing and, like, help the girls out the best way that I can so that she doesn't, like, overwhelm them so much.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, time's up.
All right.
All right, let's cut this off. Great job.